Testing. What's going? I thought we would start with reading reviews because I think it'd be fun.
Yeah, I want to know what other people have to say. Nobody even wants to say anything about it, maybe.
So this is the only review I could find. Fun build with a few troubles, but overall good. A bit of a hand grenade at first, but just keep track. A lot of very small parts and with some fitment issues. Definitely some fitment issues.
Mm-hmm.
So,
okay.
Here we are. The
172 Rodams
RAS-30.
GP03 is his name.
GP03, okay. Clear version, which I think is pretty cool.
Yeah, he looks nice.
So right off the bat, this is our first ever Gundam build.
Yes.
We know nothing at all.
None.
Blank slate. Opening this, I think the only video that we watched together was Adam Savage's tested Gundam build, one-day build. And that was a Bandai Gundam. So it needed no glue at all. And we had no idea that this one needs a lot of glue. So for this entire first day that we worked on it was a little bit of our own beating our head against the wall. We were trying to do it all without glue initially on the base until we realized that something was wrong.
Until we got to a page that said you need glue.
Yeah. Okay. And then we realized we messed up.
And there was a lot of places that probably it would have been fine without glue, but I just felt better with the glue. There was a lot of stuff, especially like these little things coming off the base there. Those little clear
triangle supports.
Triangle with the piston.
Yeah.
Those just kept popping apart.
Yeah, they're two separate parts falling apart in the middle that were supposed to support the entire hydraulic leg or whatever. Well, and then a lot of it you kind of have to handle pretty roughly. So if you didn't glue any of it and you just twisted the base the wrong way, all four corners popped off and you had to redo them each time. And we spent more time putting back parts that should have been glued in the first place than we really needed to do. So I think that the first, even maybe 2 days when we didn't have glue, we did not make much progress. That, and then the wiring really was very delicate. I mean, I work with delicate electronics for a job, and that's the only reason why we didn't have to like resolder or reconnect any of the cables, but it was still really difficult to even keep it intact.
Yeah, because I think it's about here.
This is where we needed the glue.
Yeah. At the end, and there's the glue. This is, I think, day 2. And we got the batteries for the gun there.
Yeah.
Because I don't know that it said that the batteries weren't included.
It might have somewhere, but I didn't read it until afterwards.
We didn't look at the instructions before we started?
No.
We should have.
Well, it's like super overwhelming for never having done this before, seeing an entire book of instructions.
We knew exactly what we were getting ourselves into, though.
I mean, we had an idea, and then the idea kept sliding downhill as we went. I forgot how much work went into placing the cables just right in the main body, because all of the cables were in the main body, basically, that connected to each limb. So it was really tricky keeping everything where it needed to go while putting new parts on. So yeah, I think once we got done with the main body, it seemed to be easier from that point on. And then you could kind of see the light at the end of the tunnel because you can start attaching pieces as you go. But it was really the hurdle of getting past the main body, I would say.
Yeah, and I think that there were so many parts on the main body that were just difficult to put together or felt silly.
Yeah, a lot of parts just felt like, I think that I heard French Bread say that it felt like they were just kind of adding parts that weren't really necessarily needing to be 2 different parts in there just so that there was more pieces. And it really felt like that a lot of the times, where 2 parts could have been easily fit into 1 piece. And it didn't make a whole lot of sense why there were so many parts that were tiny little pieces, could easily be bigger pieces. I'm really glad that we got the clear kit though, because so much of that detail underneath would have just been lost, because there's no way we were going to take this back apart afterwards.
Yeah.
We did also take a while to get the flow of who's going to cut, who's going to trim, and who's going to put things together. Until we got into a good rhythm, it was really difficult to get more than a page or 2 done per sitting. And then I think we ended up just doing each section per sitting once we got past the legs. So we did all the arms in one sitting.
These are the arms.
Well, those are the shoulders.
So why do we have fingers out?
Maybe.
And we got a snack too, even.
Well, maybe we did the arms in one day. I think we did the arms in one day, and then we did the legs in 2 days because there was a lot on the feet, and there was a lot in the wiring.
And there was a lot of those little metal grate thingies.
Yeah, we had that was another thing is the metal grate or grill system looks very cool, but there's just no good way to glue it in there or to even get it in there.
Yeah, I think there's that little clamp on the elbow.
Oh yeah.
And the little metal pieces, I guarantee one of them is missing right now.
It is. It's in the pictures later. There's one sitting on the base. It's not worth putting back because you can't see it normally unless you're looking real hard. Mm-hmm. Yeah, but I think the glue just didn't stick to the metal. I don't know if that's the glue that we used was wrong or what we could have done differently, but the metal parts specifically didn't want to stay glued. So I think this was one day that we stopped. And that's why I have a little thing that we started up the next day.
Oh yeah, then we finished the bottom of the feet. Right.
Yeah. And then you held up the foot for the day finish. Once we got past the feet, it felt like we were close to being done, but it ended up being probably, we're only halfway through. So it was actually quite a bit of work on the 2 tail fins and then the jetpack thing.
Well, and also the hip mechanism.
Oh, I forgot about the hips. Yeah. I think the hips were not that bad. But the little panels that go on the hips still don't want to stay. It just feels like the socket is just a little bit too small for the ball. I don't know if this is a thing with these models or not, but the cord going right up the crotch is not a choice I would have made for the electronics. And then the UV reacting plastic is really cool too.
Yeah.
I don't know if the non-clear kits are UV reacting or not, but I don't think that they are. Oh, is this still?
This is little...
Oh, this is the... Okay.
What is it?
This is the tail, one of the tails. I think we actually did the tails at the same time. Both of them. Yeah, we did.
Yeah.
I do remember this taking a lot longer than I was expecting, but a lot more straightforward than the legs were for wiring. I almost broke one of the tail wires because it needs to go, it has like a socket that it goes into, and I didn't realize there's a notch underneath the socket where the wire is supposed to be able to be threaded. And I just kind of started shoving it on there and pulling and squeezing the wire. So it's one thing that I wish was outlined a little bit more in the instructions. And we waited a long time between the tail and the jetpack because we were pretty burnt out on the project by this point, but we pushed through the last little bit and it ended up making it look even cooler.
Yeah, those little jet bits is my favorite part of the entire build.
It is. I'm going to get a mirror from behind. Yeah, I think the rocket engines are definitely my favorite. I think I can adjust it on the stand to tilt forward a little bit more so you can see the engines better. But I haven't taken it off the stand yet since we put it on. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. It looks like there should have been 18 lights, but only 17 of them are, well, not counting the base.
Where is the one that isn't working?
The one right there is not working. So it's not super noticeable, but it's still annoying. And it's not something that I can fix without replacing the entire cable, I think, because it's all connected to the other LEDs. So if it was just a loose cable, I think the other LEDs would not turn on, but that one in particular must have just gotten bent the wrong way. It is really cool to see all the detail underneath the clear plastic.
Yeah, I think I wouldn't like it nearly as much without the clear kit.
Yeah.
I probably wouldn't even want to look at it, honestly, without the clear kit.
It was an emotional journey getting through this.
Actually, okay, so the little jets, what were you calling them?
Just the rocket engines.
The rocket engines are my number 1 favorite thing on the whole kit. My number 2 favorite thing on the whole kit is the 2 pieces of hot pink clear plastic on the entire build are the belly button and the shin.
Those are good colors. I really wish that I had a nice enough camera that could show what the colors all look like together in one photo, but it's just really difficult to get all of the different colors into one shot because it's so bright on the LEDs. So what are your thoughts on a 40-hour Gundam project?
It was fun. It was hard.
It was very hard.
It was fun.
I wouldn't do one like this ever again unless I had a workshop with places that I can leave out all of the runners, and I can keep it organized, and I can get up and walk away at any point without having to pack it all up in between doing it all. But even then, I'd have to think about if I really, really wanted to do it again. I'd probably do the Adam Savage build.
The Bandai?
The Bandai one, yeah.
Yeah, I think a different type.
Totally.
A different manufacturer, for sure.
I think the sentiment throughout the whole thing was just being mad about how cool it looked because it was so much work. And then seeing that there was typos in the instructions, which after a while we started circling and typing, or circling and correcting the typos, just because it was a little bit ridiculous that it was like every other page there was something just a little bit wrong. And it's not like we couldn't connect the dots, but if we're paying $280 for a kit, you kind of want the instructions to be proofread first. And a lot of it felt like it was either not proofread or tested before putting out.
And there was several pieces where the peg didn't fit into the hole. Like the hole was the wrong size or the peg was the wrong size. And like the notches didn't fit. There was pieces that didn't fit together.
It felt like the instructions weren't proofread and the pieces weren't proof put together.
Yes, like neither thing was tested.
So if they come out with another version of this kit, I'm going to wait to watch the reviews before getting the kit.
Absolutely.
It is really cool looking though.
It's so cool. I hate it.
Did we have a scale system that we would rate this? I mean, a lot of the websites were 5 stars. Out of 5 stars, what would you rate it?
That's a hard question because I feel like I have no reference. Like this is the only one we've ever built. So, I mean, it was really fun. Some of it just felt silly and a lot of it felt frustrating. So maybe like a 3.5 because it was still a good time and the end result is cool.
I would say 3.5 is good.
Yeah.
I think I wanted it to be better, so I can't be a 5-star for that reason. If they fixed some of the parts that fit together and fixed the instructions a little bit, it'd get a 4-star. But because of those problems, I think 3.5 stars is fair.
Yeah, I think if the electronics were made more sense, because a lot of the places that they needed to go in was a really tight squeeze and the cords had to be bent very severely.
Yeah.
Like right as it comes out of the LED. And it was pretty sketchy. And we read lots of reviews that the electronics were really delicate.
Yeah.
And they were easy to break. So we were
extra careful.
Yeah. But
it's still really cool looking. So it's a solid 3.5 stars. Fun times.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe we should start a YouTube series called Not Your Average Date Night.